Having some issues with my diesel heater. Just wondering if the exhaust is supposed to be glowing red like that. Oh, that's flames. I'm glad it was out here when that happened, because that could have been very bad. It's wonderful. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Lowered Expectations. Thanks for lowering your expectations and hanging out with me here. Before we get into this video, as per usual, I'm going to start with a safety warning. Follow your manufacturer's recommendations, whether that be the fuel that you burn in your heater, the way that you install it, or the way that you use it. Don't do anything I do just because you saw me do it. I'm going to do some foolish things. I'm testing some experimental fuels, and I have had issues with this. I'm not an expert, and following anything that I do could get you seriously hurt, killed, or damage your property. So just don't do it. If you do decide to do something stupid, take responsibility for it, and yeah, that's your own problem. In the last video, we burnt a experimental mixture of 50% gasoline, 50% waste oil, and that was an immediate fail. Then we switched over to 25% gas, 75% waste oil. This video is going to be the results of that testing. I'm going to take the heater apart and look inside after we've run it for a while. And I'm also going to test the theory that running the heater lean will fix all of my problems. I've had a whole bunch of people in the comment section telling me that all I need to do is lean it out because leaner is cleaner, and that will solve all the problems. So in this video, we're also going to do the testing on that. If you guys want to support what I do, there is a link to my Patreon in the description below. These videos aren't monetized, so I don't make any money off of them whatsoever. I also have a Teespring store that is related to jet ski stuff. Link also in the description below. And last but not least, if you guys are interested in jet ski stuff, I have another channel called the Joel Arsenault YouTube channel where I do work on jet ski stuff. I haven't been doing any in a while, but I will get back to that at some point. So this video is going to be a long one. Let's get into it. All right, folks, pardon the noise of the Mr. Heater in the background. I have to have it running because once again, the Chinese diesel heater burning waste oil mix has failed on me. So I came out to shoot my intro and outro for the very first video that I published about this thing. And in order to do that, I shut it off because it's quite noisy. So I shut it off. It was burning at like 210. And then I went to restart it and it started having a bunch of issues. Now, this thing has been running for, let's see, it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and now it is, what time, on 4:15. So basically Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and part of Monday. So 4.5-ish days that this thing has been running, although I have shut it off a few times at night. When I first got it, I was running it 24 hours a day, except for when I had it apart to clean it. So anyway, what was I saying? I shut it off to shoot my intro and outro, and then I went to start it, had some issues, and so I finally got it started. I was in the house monitoring the temperature on the handy dandy remote control, and I saw that the temperature shot up. It was around 206, which is normal for this burning mixture of, well, burning the mix that I'm burning. And then it shot up quite high. It shot up till it was like 216, and then it shot up to like 220, and then all of a sudden it just started dying and went down, down, down. I came out to try to save it, and it shut off, or it was about to shut off. It was down to like 130 or something like that Celsius. It was set to setting number 6, and so anyway, I shut it off. I started to take it apart. I wasn't going to film it, and then I noticed as I was pulling the fuel, about to pull the fuel line off the bottom, Here you can see the fuel line that has a bunch of blistering in it. It looks like it almost burst. It's gotten hot enough that it's actually kind of melted the thing there, the rubber. All right. There's a little bit of carbon and soot on the fan. Inside of here actually doesn't look too bad. The glow plug I can actually see, and it doesn't look too bad either. Can just see it in through the hole. I kind of expected that maybe that hole was going to be completely plugged up, but it's not. And the glow plug has a little bit of sooty stuff on it, but not too bad, I would say. It actually looks incredibly clean inside here so far. Place your guess in the comments below. I'm gonna say there's a whole lot of carbon in there, probably mostly black stuff, but some yellow stuff. Oh, some yellow stuff. How is that working? How is that functioning at all? I don't think that's even carbon. I think that's sulfur. I don't know. But I know that we have to clean it out of there. It actually looks pretty clean from this side. The actual burn area is staying fairly clean, which is odd for this thing. It's cleaning up easier than it usually does. Normally this stuff is really hard. It's normally like concrete, and this is more like chalk. Or maybe I spoke too soon, because this black carbony stuff does appear to be harder. Whatever that yellowish stuff is softer. Wow. Look at this. Wow. Ow, that was my hand. I need that. I spared you guys the agony of putting this thing back together. I've decided to relocate the fuel pump a little bit, and I found an old piece of insulation. I salvaged or tore apart an old oven years ago, and this was the door trim seal thing. It's this fiberglass insulation. So I'm putting that around the tube, and I'll slide the fuel line on and then slide that back over. I'm just about ready to test fire this thing. I've got the fuel line rerouted, so I've got it coming out of the tank into the filter. And then the main thing I've done is reposition the pump so that it's pointing straight up, so the fuel line loops around and now comes up into the pump here. The fuel line then comes out of the top of the pump, loops down, and goes in, and now I have that piece of insulation around the fuel line at the bottom to stop it from overheating again. Oh, it's starting. I'm using my fingers to choke it a little bit here, because if I remove my fingers, it will flame out. It ramps the fan up too quickly for waste oil burn. For diesel, it's fine. What's burning down there? Apparently some oil burning off the outside of the chamber or something. That's exciting. Apparently there was just some oil on the outside of the housing or something, because it stopped smoking now. Maybe there was oil on the exhaust. Alright, we are at setting 3. It made it to 96 before it leveled off. That's not good enough. We're gonna keep going up from there. May as well crank her right up to 6. I'm gonna try choking it a little bit more because it's taking forever to climb up. I don't know if you guys can hear that sound of the intake. Oh, there it is. It's the sound of the chamber pressurizing, and there's actually air coming out of the intake. As you guys can hear, the heater is running away in the background. It actually sounds pretty good, but it was a bit of a struggle to get it running. This is the part of the video where we're going to find out if running at lean is going to solve all of the problems. I don't actually have a controller that has the functionality to control the air-fuel ratio, the fan speed, and the fuel delivery independently of each other, except for the workaround that I can put it in Alpine mode. Pushing the settings and OK button at the same time puts it in Alpine mode. A little blue mountain appears and it leans out the mixture for running at higher altitude. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to run it lean in that setting. I have ordered a controller that will hopefully allow me to adjust the fuel air ratio independently, and I will be testing that in the future. But for now, this is what we have to work with. So let's do this test. We'll come back when it's all sorted out, when it fails, I assume, and see what happens. Thanks for lowering your expectations and hanging out with me here. We've made it partway through this test. The heater ran for 12 hours on the high setting, which is setting 6 on my heater, and in the Alpine mode, which means that it was running lean. So it has shut down. It ran for about 12 hours. We're gonna pull it apart and see why it shut down. Did it carbon up regardless of running lean, or did it simply run out of fuel or starve of fuel and shut off? Let's get into it and see what's going on in there. I haven't touched anything yet. I ran it at setting 6. When it shut down, I just left it. I haven't tried to restart it or anything. And this is exactly how much fuel it burned. I'm not gonna fill the tank before I work on it because it's just gonna make it more difficult. But what I'll do is, before I start it up, I'll actually fill the tank all the way to the top, see how much fuel it actually burnt before it shut off. As you guys can see, I'm not terribly fussy with mine. I don't clean the case off on the outside every time because I would go through more money in rags and brake cleaner than I saved in any kind of fuel or heating savings. All right. I kind of expect to find carbon, but more loose carbon, more fluffy carbon. But maybe it'll be clean, maybe I'm wrong. There is carbon inside the exhaust, so I suspect there will be a bunch of carbon inside here. Leave your guesses in the comments section below. This looks pretty okay. It wasn't that clean when I put it together. Oh, there's some oil on the, interesting. Oh, that's probably from when it flamed out and kept pumping. I am genuinely curious to see what we're gonna find inside here. Oh, the oil plug, the glow plug is completely soaked in oil. Oh boy. Can you feel the excitement? Let's see. Oh, there's oil. Why isn't it coming out? Okay, first off, it is completely caked up. Like completely caked up in there. That is a lot of carbon in 12 hours. That's 12 hours of burning at the lean setting in alpine mode. Can we now see inside there? Oh yeah. Okay, so this stuff pretty soft. That stuff down there, wow. Okay, pretty easy to break up. So yeah, that's what 12 hours of running got me. I'm not gonna make you guys sit through me cleaning this whole thing out, so what I'll do is I'll clean this out, we'll come back, we'll put it back together, and then the next test we're gonna do is running it at full power, not on alpine mode, so richer fuel mixture, and yeah, crank up the fuel and make it burn hot. Kinda doesn't make sense to me. As far as working on engines, it should run leaner and hotter when you cut back on the fuel, but that's not the way diesels work, and that's not the way oil works apparently. So yeah, this is gonna take a while. I'll be back. I now have the chamber cleaned out as good as I'm gonna get it, and just to annoy some people, I used a piece of cardboard to make a gasket. Now a lot of people are gonna say that this will probably catch fire and burn, but I am here to tell you that stuff needs oxygen to burn. This gasket is trapped between two metal surfaces, and even if this reaches combustion temperature, it will not burn. So we will find out soon enough, because I'm assuming this thing will come apart in the near future. I'm pretty sure what's happening here, even though running it leaner does make it burn cleaner, we're having the issue where we actually don't have enough heat energy. So because I don't have a controller that can control fan speed, instead of increasing the airflow to make it run lean, I'm having to decrease the fuel. So we end up with less heat energy. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking about heat and temperature because it's very relatable, but Celsius or Fahrenheit is not a good way to determine heat energy. Basically what's happening here is we're lowering the heat energy that goes into the heater by cutting the fuel. So even though the flame itself might be hotter, we'll say the flame is smaller, there's less heat energy in that flame, it can't heat up the burn chamber and the heater body itself enough to actually cook off the fuel, so that's why it actually didn't last as long as when we were running it rich. Even though it's burning very dirty when it's running rich, there is enough heat to actually cook off the stuff and keep it a little bit cleaner inside and produce enough heat energy to actually keep it going. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. I think that's what's happening. Before I fill the tank, I'm going to put the heater back up on the shelf because it's much harder to move around with a full tank. And I'd rather not drop it with a full tank, so we'll put it up and then fill it up. I've mixed up a batch of fuel. This is 1 liter of gasoline and 3 liters of, well, actually 900 milliliters of gasoline and 3,100 milliliters of waste oil. Basically 1 liter and 3 liters. Let's find out how much fuel it burnt before it shut down. I've got 4 liters here, so we'll fill up the tank and then see how much is left in our 4 liter container. It's not going to be laboratory precise, but we're not in a laboratory. That's about 2 liters so far. Looks like it's going to be 3.5 liters. I'll fill it up the same amount as it was. It was right up to the brim. Just to be fair. Oh wow, it's going to take almost the whole 4 liters. I've got this container that is graduated by hundreds of milliliters. So we'll pour what's remaining in here from the 4 liters. And we'll see how much is left over. And that'll tell us how much we used. That is 1, 2, 3, 50. So we used, wow, my math is not good doing it this way. We have 4 liters minus 350, so 650. Is that right? Well, I don't know what happened, but it didn't last 2 days. This is how much fuel it burnt before it went out. It was giving me pretty low temperatures, so I'm gonna try to restart it and see if I can figure out what's going on. It just went out. I had to choke it to restart it. In order to keep it going, I'm having to keep my fingers over the air inlet. You'll hear the noise stop and you'll see the temperature drop, and then when I put my fingers there it will start up again if it continues to do this. Just gonna go out. There, it just went out. Temperature going down. Uh-oh, I waited too long. There we go. I started it up. I'm almost completely covering the inlet. It's like it's not getting enough fuel, but I can see the fuel going in. I think there's too much gasoline in it is what's happening. I think the difference is I used a slight bit more of gasoline, and the gasoline flashes off really quickly, burns, consumes the oxygen, and actually doesn't allow the oil to burn, which then builds up. And there, now you can hear the oil burning, now that the fan is slowed down and the glow plug turned on. And it will actually take quite a bit of time to go through its cool down, because it's actually going to heat up in the cool down cycle. You can see the glow plug turned off, and you can still hear the burn happening. This video is probably going to be long, and me putting in parts where I'm talking is just going to make it longer, but I thought I would put this in because a bunch of people have jumped into the comments section and told me that gas requires a lot more air. So, if gas requires a lot more air, please explain to me why this works then. Choking it off actually is the only way to keep it running when it's burning a higher percentage of gasoline. There's probably actually a good reason for that. Let's see if we can figure it out in the comment section. All right, just for shits and giggles and to test my theory, I'm actually going to put more gasoline in it and see if it makes the problem worse. Just when you think things couldn't get any weirder, my heater is now working as good or better than it's ever worked. It sounds like it's running properly. It is currently running at 204, which is pretty high temperature. Anyway, we'll go up and look at it, but it's running at 204 in alpine mode with a rag completely blocking the air inlet. Listen to it even. It sounds good. It's a nice steady burn. How hot is the exhaust? The exhaust isn't super hot. When it's not working well, that piece of ductwork will get, I believe it was like 74 at the bottom and 74 at the bottom, 46 at the top. Now got 40 at the bottom. Yeah, it's like 40 degrees. What is happening? It is currently running. I'll have to do the math and figure it out, but it is currently running on the 3 liters of oil to 1 liter of gas, and then an additional 500 milliliters of gasoline in alpine mode with a rag over the inlet. I'm not going to question a good thing. What I'm actually going to do is go in, because it's just past midnight, and I'm actually going to put a piece of tape and tape the rag over the inlet so it doesn't move and get burnt up by the exhaust or something. We're going to let this run overnight, and I'll monitor the temperature. We'll let it run, and I'll let you guys know what happens. It is currently minus 28 Celsius outside, 16.5 on the thermostat here. This heater is turned off. You can see this is turned down to 6 degrees. This is turned off, and that is running better than it ever has. All you wise guys and keyboard warriors, let me know in the comments section why I shouldn't have done this. It will actually be a few videos, maybe several videos, before you guys actually see the outcome of doing this. But since you guys know everything, let me know what happened before you actually see that video. Go ahead, go do it. Leave a comment telling me what was the result, what was the negative result of plugging the intake for an extended period of time. And in a few videos, you'll find out if you're right or not. Do it. That's gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to click the like button. And if you wanna see more of this content, then subscribe. In the next video, we're gonna find out what the results of plugging off the air intake and running it in alpine mode are. We're also going to do a very basic diesel consumption test to see how much this thing burns over a given period of time. And I'm going to purposely assemble this heater very dirty, both the burn chamber and the heat exchanger. We're then going to run it on diesel and see how well it cleans it up, or if it cleans it up. I've already kind of done this test, but I'm going to do a better job of documenting it and keeping track of the before, the after, how much time has passed, and how much diesel has been consumed. Once again, I don't make anything off of these videos, so if you guys want to support me on Patreon, there is a link in the description below. If you want to buy some Teespring merch, there is also a link in the description below. Most of that stuff is jet ski related. And I have another channel that is jet ski related. If you want to check that out, link in the description below. It is the Joel Arsenault YouTube channel. That's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.